to the second part of our final concert of the year. Please welcome the Miamisburg second period. Our first piece tonight is entitled Escapade by Raymond Sifuentes. It's pretty simple. It's basically meant to set the mood of a spy thriller, kind of a spy movie. So basically, our protagonist needs to get in, get the intel, and get out without getting caught. All right, so that's Raymond Sifuentes' Escapade. Let's go. So our next piece is by a woman who's become one of my favorite composers, Yukkio Nishimura. She is very interesting because she is from Japan. She's born in Kyoto, Japan, where she grew up and went through college and so spent her early years there. But then after she graduated college, she went to graduate school in the United States, and she is settled here in the United States. So you get this really interesting combination of music with a lot of Japanese influence, but she also studied with a lot of American composers. So her music really doesn't sound like anybody else's. It's really a really unique sound. She writes a lot of really slow, pretty music and some other fast, fun music. This one actually does a little bit of both. Joyful Lily, it's really beautiful, but it doesn't sound like a piece you would normally hear. Then it has a middle section that kind of gets fast and lively and a little bit more energetic before kind of settling back in. So this is kind of our slow, pretty one for this concert with kind of a faster middle section. So this is Yukkio Nishimura's Joyful Village.
Broege, the word you're most commonly going to get is weird. All right? He writes music that is really weird. A couple years ago, we did a piece, for example, called Blue Alien Accumulation, in which a bunch of alien spaceships land. Then they kind of gather for sort of like a religious type service, but then the humans run away when they realize the aliens are going to kill them. Like, that's literally what it's about. He wrote this one back actually in the late 70s, early 80s. It's the story of the Headless Horseman. I think most of us know that. So it is a dark and foggy night in Sleepy Hollow. And then the horseman will approach. approach and sheer terror ensues. Then the horse takes off, and the horseman does what he does, and then just as quickly rides off. And one thing the horseman is, he is efficient too. This isn't going to take very long because he doesn't have a lot of time. But it's a lot of fun piece to put together, and it's definitely a little bit different than what you're used to. This is Timothy Broege's The Headless Horseman. Cool. All right. Before we play our last piece, I do want to recognize a couple of people who have joined us here tonight. I forgot to do that in the last group. I do want to welcome one of our assistant principals here from the high school, Mrs. Summer Management. Also, everybody I think mostly knows our band staff. We've got Mr. Whitman, Mr. Hatcher, Mr. Wintersheimer's in the back running sound. And please stick around if you're able to later tonight. We have I'll talk more later tonight because I can't emotionally handle it doing it 3 times tonight. But checking out at least her last high school concert as one of our band directors after a couple of years. Mrs. Patty Bennett is here tonight. A song with our wind symphony later on tonight, so if you're able to join us, I hope you can stick around for that. Our last piece, well, before we play our last piece, again, I mentioned this last year, and I mentioned I'll say about these guys. I say this to them all the time. They'll tell you, I tell them that this might be my favorite class to teach. I love this band. Every year I love this band. It's just such a great confluence of kids. These guys are a lot of fun. We meet every day, second period, so it's not as the Symphonic band gets the worst. They have to meet at 7:30. I get them about 8:20, so they're semi-conscious by that point. It's a little bit better. We just have a lot of fun, and they're an absolute joy to work with. And I made the same joke last time. You probably think, no way he's talking about my kid, but I am talking about your kid. They're just, I'm so grateful for each and every single one of them. We have just a lot of fun every day, and I'm incredibly proud of them, and I know they sound incredible, and I know they're amazing. Our last piece today is by composer Alex Shapiro. She is based out of Washington State. If you're familiar with, if you've ever seen our indoor winds program, she actually kind of predated that world by about 10 or 20 years. She is really one of the band pioneers of what we call electroacoustic music. You probably heard us sound checking a little bit ago, and that is acoustic live instruments with an electronic track. All right, so you'll hear you got speakers set across the back. Mr. Wintersheimer's got an iPad. All right, so the students are practicing. They've been practicing and working with it. That's meant to fit together. Part of what makes that challenging is a lot of times, when we're playing a piece, if they kind of let the tempo fudge a little bit, I can adjust with that. That recording's not changing, so that's been a challenge. It's got to hold steady, so they've got to hold steady. But I think they like this one. I think CJ would go, this is the greatest piece ever, or something like that.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. All right, so at least one of them likes it. I know that much. All right. So I think you'll enjoy it, especially kind of gets grooving here a little bit. This is Alex Shapiro's Off the Edge.
Two of you guys for tonight. Have a great stay going up. Send around with it. We'll be back to the Symphonic Band at 7:30.